Hello, Lone Wanderer here. Yes, I know I've not made any videos for God knows how long, for months on end, but I've had a lot of things on my mind, as per usual, a lot of problems to deal with, some personal, some not personal, and at one point I was actually really tempted just to get rid of this channel altogether because I wasn't in the right frame of mind. And obviously there's a lot of channels out there which is a lot better than mine, but I thought, well, I owe it to my subscribers, all 200 of you. Well, like I said from the beginning, it's not about subscribers, to me it's about getting the message across about bushcrafting, things that's on my mind. And it's very windy today, and it's getting outdoors for mental health and stuff, so it's not like a bushcraft survival channel. It's mostly about reviews and little tips now and again, but yeah, a bit of a bad place, still am in a way, but I try to get out as much as I can to clear my head. So anyway, I'm not going to go into that. So what this video is yes, it's another knife review, but it's not going to be a user review. I'm not going to be batoning in things through the camera. Is the hype about this knife, and it's been out for a few years now, this knife, probably more than a few years, and it's probably one of the most talked about knives probably in the bushcraft community. There's a lot of videos out on this knife, which I'm about to show you, and I've been thinking about getting it for a while, and it's not about the money now on cost and stuff, because it's actually within my budget. It's actually under 150 quid, and the other reason why I haven't pressed the button sooner is because it's like when you're hovering over an item and you read reviews after reviews after reviews, and that's me. I like to review absolutely everything before I actually finally press the button. And they've just recently brought out a new model, which I'll show you what it is now, but this is not the new model they brought out, this is the older model. Okay, so the knife I'm going to talk about today is this one. This is the casstrom number 10 with the upgraded German Schleipner steel. And the casstrom number 10, I've seen it a lot of videos. It's very well recommended in quite a lot in the bushcraft community. Everybody recommends this knife that I've spoke to, so either they've still using it or recommend it, or they've used it in the past and say it's a brilliant knife. And like I said, this has been on the back burner for a while, for a few years in fact. I've had this on my watch list, so from a few trades I had the money to buy it, and I thought I'll cheer myself up, and I finally pressed the button. Because there are different options, sheaths, oops, a bit muddy today, yeah. So it comes with this one. This one came with like basic leather sheath. This is an optional extra, which is a number 3 dangler, which is very, very, very strong, very well made, as you'd expect from casstrom. Now, it's not the first casstrom knife I've owned. I've owned another knife that I've had for a good while now, called the casstrom Woodsman, and for the size, I think that's probably one of the best bushcraft knives I've ever had. Not survival knives and big choppers or anything like that. I'm talking about just a basic small bushcraft knife for doing carving and small bushcraft tasks. So I like the steel as well. So what do I think of this one then? Was it everything I lived up for, or hoped for, or all the hype's about? Okay, so I've used this for a few weeks now. I've taken it out with me every single time I've been out to the woods. I've batoned with it, obviously not done any chopping for it because it's not a chopping blade. In fact, you'd be very stupid trying to chop with this, with like a 4-inch blade. But yeah, just general camp tasks, general bushcraft tasks. And still looks great. It still looks, even though I've had it for a few weeks, I've had it, it's been outdoors quite a lot, it still looks brand new. Obviously I've kept it clean and sharp and things like that. So what do I think to it? Okay, so the steel, let's talk about the steel. The steel is German, very good quality German Schleipner steel, which many people say it's a stainless steel, but actually it's not. This can rust, just like any other carbon steel. So the steel itself is superb. My Castro Woodsman knife that I've just told you about, it's made out of the same steel, and I'm totally falling in love with this Schleipner steel. Now, not many knives are made out of the German Schleipner steel. There's not many knives out there that's made out of that steel, and I think there should be. This steel is superb. It's super strong. It keeps a good edge. It's razor sharp, and I absolutely love it. The steel, there's nothing to complain about the steel whatsoever. Absolutely banging. Bang for your buck. You get exactly what you pay for. Brilliant steel. Can't recommend it highly enough. The steel's brilliant. Same as it is on the Castro Woodsman's knife, which I absolutely love that knife. Okay, so like I said, there is pros to this knife and there's cons to this knife. There's negatives. Obviously more pros than negatives. I say it's extremely well made, very well finished. The pins are all nice and flush on the green micarta scales. Absolutely fantastic. Look at the pattern on there. Absolutely fantastic. Normally I don't like micarta scales, but with this I make an exception because it's beautiful. So everything's superbly finished to very high standards. There's no hot spots anywhere, there's no sharp corners, everything's flush. The plunge line is 100% straight on the knife. Beautiful drop point, beautiful Scandi edge, which is not too shallow. So normally I like my Scandi grinds to be slightly higher, but this one's actually not too bad. Yeah, so all in all, beautiful knife with a beautiful, very well made sheath. I think one of the reasons why it took me so long to press the button is because you know me and handles. The knife, you can't call your knife a good knife if the handle is not to your liking, and that's one of the reasons why I didn't press the buy button sooner. Excuse me, sipping my tea. Okay, so most things said about this knife is the handle. Everybody that I spoke to and the videos that I've seen on YouTube comments on the handle. Say some even say it's the most comfortable handle that they've ever used. Okay, and like I said before, the handle shape is one of the reasons why it took me so long to press the button, because I wasn't too sure about this rounded shape, this kind of saber grip. I wasn't too sure about it because I've had knives in the past with a similar shape handle to this, and generally I like my handles to be straight and not so curved. But I thought I'll give it the benefit of the doubt and see what all the hype is about. And yeah, agreed, the handle is very comfortable. It's good for whittling, it's good for making tent pegs, and every time I use this, I absolutely love this steel. By the way, did I say I like this steel? I mean, look at this. Just look how deep that goes straight away. No messing about. Beautiful steel with amazing edge. But the deal breaker for me is what you might not have expected, because I've never heard anyone say it about the handle. But for me, the deal breaker is, and I'm going to say it is the handle. I don't like it. I don't like this handle. And it's not because I've got large hands. I've got medium to large hands. It's actually doesn't sit too bad in my hand at all. That's not the issue. The issue is that curve, that kind of sabre kind of grip. I can't get on with it. Now, if you was wearing gloves and etc. like many people do, then you wouldn't feel it. You wouldn't be a problem. But it's that shape, and the more you use this knife, or the more I use this knife, the more I start to fall out with that handle shape, and at times it even gets in the way of things. And I wish this handle was straight and not curved. I wish they made a knife exactly the same as this, exactly the same specs as this, but kept the handle straight. And that's why I've been looking at the Lars Fault knife, because that's similar to this but a little bit bigger, but it has a flatter handle, it has a longer handle. Now when you're doing certain cuts, like just doing some like these cuts, works really well, as you can see. Very comfortable. Okay, again with your notching, choke up like this. Sabre grip is very good for choking up like that when you're holding it like this. So yeah, choke up on it, do some notching, and it's superb. Again, very comfortable. Again, very comfortable when you're doing that. Batoning, yeah, no problems there either. But when you start to do other grips, now people with smaller hands than me, they might not have this problem, but with me, because I don't really have small hands, when I'm doing things like the chest lever cut, for those of you that don't know what chest lever cut is you basically hold the knife like this, about chest height, hold the knife like this, deep breath in, breathe out, and you do that. You can either pull the stick or pull the knife, doesn't really matter which, and it does it quite well. However, if you look at this, the position of where this handle is, it's right there, and it digs into your hand, right there. Because when I do the chest lever, I like to put my thumb on top of the handle like this. Sometimes I do it on the blade if the blade is smaller, so I'll do it on the blade. But 9 times out of 10, with a proper bushcraft knife, I'll put my thumb there and hold the knife like this, and do the chest lever like this. Okay. Now that, because of the curve, because of that kind of sabre grip on the knife, when I'm holding like this, this bit that sticks out here, I suppose you can call it like a beak or something like that, that digs into my palm. And even after a few seconds, you can see a red mark appearing on my palm there, and that's where it digs in. So when I'm doing that, it really digs into the palm, that bit. Although everything's nicely rounded, nicely finished, it's still very uncomfortable. I mean, you can argue when you're doing a chest lever, so yes, but why hold it like that when you just change the grip? Just change it to this grip, okay, reverse grip, and then you can hold it like that, so that obviously this bit here is not touching your palm, and then you can hold it like this and then do that, and that's fine. But I don't want to hold it like that, and to hold it like that and doing a chest lever, which many people do, to me that feels unnatural, and I don't like to feel unnatural. Okay, the whole point in going outdoors and doing bushcraft and using a bushcraft knife like this is the handle for me is the most important part of the knife, not just the steel but the handle, because if the handle is not comfortable, then I tend not to use it. I don't want to use it. Now I'll give it a few weeks, 3 weeks, I've been using this, so I've tried to give it a go. And yeah, sorry to all the casstrom number 10 fans, I just do not like that handle. The knife itself is absolutely amazing, the steel is absolutely amazing, the handle, but for me, is a negative. And for me to carry this thing day in, day out, when I'm out in the field, the handle has got to be comfortable. And which is a bit of a weird one, because 9 times out of 10 when people review this, they actually comment on the handle being the best feature of this knife, and to me it's not. The best feature of the knife is the steel and the grind. And it's such a shame, because I absolutely love this knife. If this knife had a straight handle, I'd probably definitely put it in my top 5 best bushcraft knives I've ever used. But it's just that handle, that curved. Casstrom, why did you do that curve on it? Why did you do that kind of, I don't know if you call it, I call it saber grip. I don't know if you can call it a bow grip or saber grip, whatever grip you want to call it, but I don't understand why they put that curve in it, you know. I don't know, but even sometimes when I'm doing this one, that kind of bit there, that kind of palm swell there, again, after a while it starts to dig into your palm. But there again, you know, you'll have people argue, saying, oh, but wear gloves and you won't feel it. But yeah, but that's not the point. When I want to use a knife, I don't have to feel a need to wear gloves just to use a knife. You know, a bushcraft knife is supposed to be an extension of your arm, with or without gloves. So, you know, I don't want to be using this knife and just get my gloves out of my bag just to use a knife. I don't want to do that. I want to just grab the knife and then just start working at it. But for me, that's the biggest con, that's the big deal breaker. Everything else is pretty much a pro. I'd say the size for a bushcraft knife is perfect. It's not too short, not too big. Again, the steel, absolutely superb, nothing wrong with the steel, nothing wrong with that edge, got a cracking edge. Fit finish, absolutely perfect, 100% perfect. The sheath with the number 3 dangler, perfect, nothing wrong with the sheath either. Very heavy duty, very well made. But casstrom, it's the handle. Why did you do the handle curved? Why? Just why? Keep it straight. Oh. And I'm gutted, because I honestly thought this was going to be a slightly larger version of the casstrom Woodsman, which is in my top 5 best bushcraft knives, by the way. I'll probably do a video with my top 5 best bushcraft knives that I have and still have. But unfortunately, I'll probably put this at number 6. It's not in my top 5, but I'll probably put it in number 6, because it is a brilliant knife. It's just that handle, and for me and many other bushcrafters, the handle is the deal breaker. If you can't get on with the handle, then if you're like me, then you won't be taking this out in the field. The only reason why I bought this out in the field again is obviously to do this little video and just to give you my 2 pence worth kind of thing, if you like. And it's such a shame. So I think what I'm going to do is, obviously there's nothing I can do about this. I don't want to put this on the grinder and start trying to grind this out to be straight, because I'm just going to totally ruin it. I'm thinking of getting the Lars Fault version of the same steel as this, which is the kind of the older version. Not the older version. I think they've done 3 versions of the Lars Fault. The K720, which is the very early one, K720 carbon steel, and then they upgraded to the Schleipner steel, the German Schleipner steel, which is what the steel this is, and then recently they've upgraded to the I think it's the A8 carbon steel, which they've just bought out with a Brown McCarter scale. But because I like this steel, I was thinking of buying a Lars Fault blank and putting my own scales on it, and then we'll see, take it from there. We'll see if it's going to be a better version of this. But as it stands, I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to keep this. I'll probably trade it or sell it. I don't know. I'm not decided yet, because it is a beautiful knife. It's a superb knife, but it's just a handle. That's a no for me. But yeah, so it's been a while, but sometimes you have to get away from social media and YouTube and things like that, and so, you know, I'm not going to go into the way I've been feeling lately, so it's not what this channel's about, but you'll know if you've been through it, you get me. But yeah, so just a quick review on this, really. I'm not going to do like start carving with it and baton for it, because there's loads of videos out there showing you about this, and I've already done that and things, but I just wanted to show you an update on this, really. So I'm not going to blab on for too long, so I'm going to upload this to YouTube when I get back, and drop me comments. Do you own the knife? Have you used a knife? Do you get on well with that that either saber grip or that bow grip, whatever you want to call it? I suppose it's each to their own. People have different hand shapes, different ways of doing things, so I guess it's probably the shape or the kind of style of knife I like to use. That's probably, so the fault is not with the knife, it might be me, I don't know, but it might say it's each to their own. So but anyway, I'm going to leave it off there, and let me know in the comments about the casstrom number 10. Like I said, they have bought a new version called the casstrom number 14, and my plan was, if I like the number 10, I was going to upgrade it for the longer 14. Obviously the 14 is obviously exactly the same steel, exactly the same blah blah as this knife, but only longer. But I don't think I'll be getting the 14 now, because it's the same, exactly the same handle shape as what this is. So yeah, it is a shame, but it is what it is, I suppose. But yeah, bye bye for now, thanks for watching, and let me know about the if you've got it or used it and what you think to it, etc. Okay, so bye bye for now. Long Wanderer signing out. Peace.